Hi, my name is Keith, and I'm a volunteer with the Cobb County Democracy Center. We're calling voters in Georgia to make sure that you know that there have been many changes to voting this year. You might have been assigned to a different district with different voting locations. You also might see unfamiliar candidate names on your ballot. To avoid surprises when it's time to vote, please check your voter registration now.
Lovely. Good morning. I'm the Reverend Kevin Tarsa. If we have not met yet, privileged to serve this congregation. This is not our normal front Sunday scene. There is no normal. Good point, Shanti. So we've had people who've been doing things, and as I invite and thank them, I'll invite them to go to their seats. Jill Banwell and Jim Bear and Janet Dunstan have been writing postcards for a Get Out the Vote campaign. Yeah. Keith has been doing phone banking, which these days is done from your computer. Carol Kusora. Carol Kusora and Lori Bell have been making posters. I see. Shelley North Gerson has been meditating on our behalf. Martha Turner has been on Zoom writing postcards. Jim Perkins has been registering people to vote and encouraging people to be poll watchers. Tracy Pepper is in spirit knocking on doors, going door to door. And you may have noticed that Scotty Hart was offering us these beautiful strawberries and chocolate and cookies, taking care of us who are all doing the doing. So thank you everyone who's been up front. You are released. We'll come back to these possibilities later after Gail sets the context for this service, which is rooted in a sense of hope and our own sense of agency, our ability to act, and after Diana invites us into deeper reflection. Thanks, everybody. For this moment, I want to let you know that the lay pastoral care team is represented by Corey Silva this morning, who's standing by the table with the bowl of water and the stones. That's a chance to honor what's in your heart today, all that's either weighing on you or lifting your heart or in between. It's a chance to put a stone in the bowl of water anytime before, after, during the service. And for the folks on Zoom, good morning. You may also type into the chat anytime if there's something you want to share about what's going on for you, or to type a 0 or an O to place a stone. So I invite us now to give our cell phones a vacation for an hour. Yep, now's the time. And I invite you to take on the active role now of saying hello to the people who are near you, especially those persons who you don't know yet, and especially those persons who you notice are not being welcomed or greeted by anyone. So I invite you to say hello and welcome each other.
Good morning. I love the vibrancy of this community. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm Gail Johnson Vaughan, the last time I looked, and I'm here to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Community of the Mountains, right here in Grass Valley, California. Welcome to those of you in the room. And welcome to those of you on Zoom. You might give them a wave back there. And those of you who are watching at what for us is a future date on our YouTube channel. You have arrived in the midst of a community centered in love, whose actions are guided by the values you see on the left there. Those values inspired this sacred service. For you see, we are each a part of a historic moment that our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren will read about in their history books. Each of us, in our own ways that match our authentic selves, will impact the outcome of this historic moment where democracy itself is on the ballot. For a number of years, we've been wringing our hands and saying, oh, but what can I do? Well, Reverend Kevin and I, we started planning this service back in June, early June. And we knew that the road would be heavy and rough, and that heaven knows how we will get there. And admitting to each other that things might probably be different by August 25th. But we had no idea how different. Now I hear people saying, well, maybe we don't have to work so hard. And others, me and obviously you as well, saying we absolutely must stay the course, even double our efforts in the next 65 days that we have, because the power of darkness is strong. So, with this welcome comes an invitation to live this moment authentically. You who open your souls in sacred intention to envision a country of freedom, equity, justice, abundance, and joy, we welcome you and the peace and power that comes from your spiritual practices. You who courageously build community with strangers that see this moment through different and perhaps scary lenses, welcome. You who write postcard after postcard to get out the vote. You who march and stand with conviction and intent, make phone calls, knock on doors, register voters, stand witness at the polls. Welcome. You who bring comfort and even laughter to those who are drawn to the front lines. You who tend your children, your elders, and your friends, and make an absolute commitment to vote. You who know your best contribution to this moment is to stay free from the stress of it all and simply live your best lives. Welcome. You who face the challenge of each day, welcome. Together, we weave a beautiful and strong tapestry. It is so good to be together.
Good morning, I'm Jim Bear, and I'm really excited to be up here today. Here, each Sunday, we remind ourselves.
That would be Robin Hart, Cypress.
In our commitment to be in right relationship with the descendants of this area's indigenous people, we place a small basket of black oak acorns on our altar each week.
We do this every Sunday to remind ourselves to pay attention, to learn, to remember that the effects of history continue to live in people's lives and bodies, including our own. And why acorns? Because acorns were a vital source of sustenance for the Nisenan, and because the oak trees carry the effects of history in their bodies too.
In doing so, we acknowledge that the Nisenan people are still here among us today, though nearly invisible after generations of erasure and exclusion from California's history.
Still here and understandably cautious about being seen. May we see what the Nisenan want us to see.
We understand we are on Nisenan land that was never ceded, and the original tribal families have yet to recover from the genocide of their people.
Beth Caro likes to point out that ceded is spelled C-E-D-E-D, meaning never given up. It's important to know this land was taken and that genocide is an accurate word.
As residents or visitors in Nisenan land, we support the Nevada City Rancheria Nisenan tribe in efforts to stabilize their people, as well as the campaign to restore tribal sovereignty through federal recognition.
May we offer our support with respect and care, with commitment and hope, and with humility and love.
Invite you to rise in body or in spirit. wait a minute. So normally, as much as we do anything normally, we would light our chalice at this point, this symbol of our religious tradition, this Unitarian Universalist tradition, because we say there is always a light, and this is one of our reminders of it. But today we're going to do something different. Normally we'd light the chalice and then we'd send the light with our young ones on their way to Kids Connection. We're going to wait to light our chalice till later. But what we are going to do is pass this beautiful turned wooden chalice. This was made by Wendy and Tom Wernick's son, Bodie. And we're going to pass it through the entire service, so you'll have plenty of time. But I invite each person who's willing to take it, hold it in your hands, and call to mind and heart your deep, deep hopes for the world, for our nation, for this community. Invest it with your prayers, your hopes, your intention. I invite you to work together to gradually make sure it gets to everybody's hands over the course of the service. And then toward the end, we'll actually light our chalice. So in this moment, we send our empty lamp up to Kids Connection and to be continued, but we will sing the young ones on their way. There is always a light when we are ready to see it. There is always a light when we are ready to be it. To see the light, to be the light, to raise our eyes in the dark of night, to climb this hill. Together we will.
I have to start by saying that slide you just saw, the young woman carrying the sign that said love, that was in 2016. It was Santa Barbara High School students marching in response to the election. And the young woman carrying the sign is my granddaughter, Sadie. So proud of her. I'm a spirit-led person who owns justice as one of my spiritual practices. I'm a kid person with a blended family of 6 children, 9 grandchildren, and 5 great-grandchildren, and worked time and a half for 35 years to remove the barriers that prevent children and youth in foster care from achieving and sustaining permanent families. The thought of losing our democracy makes me weep for their future. I weep for what my granddaughter and her partner Katya and all the other beautiful LGBTQ plus and gender non-conforming children and adults will face. I weep for what will happen to my 2 disabled great-grandsons if they lose the social security on which their very lives depend. I weep for all the children and grandchildren and those who will come after them as our planet becomes more and more uninhabitable. But what can I do? Last week, I picked up the most recent Time magazine and started reading it from the back, which I often do. And there I found an interview with Darren Walker, the departing president of the Ford Foundation. Here's my paraphrase of what he said. He starts by speaking the obvious. If you are committed to the idea that democracy is the best form of government and that the full participation of the citizenry is essential for democracies to be healthy, this is a challenging time. Hope, he said, is the oxygen of democracy. But inequality is the enemy of hope. People without hope will do things that we thought were never possible in our society. That, he says, worries me. It worries me too. I feel compelled to do whatever small things I can do to defend our democracy. I want to emphasize the word small. I have the skills to do big things, but I've made a conscious decision to do things that fit the energy that's available to me as I enter my 9th decade. In 2022, UUCM was one of only 20 UU congregations in the country awarded the title of Good Trouble Congregation. You are the ones that earned it. Now we're here at the brink of what may well be the most impactful election of our lives. Because we're all feeling excited and joy at the turn of political events, it might seem tempting to slow down our efforts. I assure you that those who are not happy will not slow down theirs. Even though the sun of hope has broken through the clouds of panicky despair, there is no assurance that our democracy will survive the election. I've been thinking about this service for a long time. I wanted originally to call it Let's Get in Good Trouble, in honor of John Lewis's admonition to never, ever be afraid to make noise and get in good trouble, necessary trouble. My original vision was for the service to rev you up into action to get out the vote. I wanted you to be me. But guess what? You're not me. What you bring to this historic moment is your own authenticity, your own way of taking action to influence the unfolding of history. Be it deep meditative vision, or frontline action, or anything in between. Many of you, if not most, are open to ideas about what we can do. Some of us know we are not fit for the campaign trail or writing postcards or knocking on doors. That doesn't change the fact that we have strength to contribute to defending democracy. What then, I pondered, did I want to leave you with today? I came to realize that what I want to leave you with today is hope. Not flighty, wispy, passive hope, but hope that we collectively and individually nurture with our own agency and our own intention and actions. When I stumbled on Darrell Walker's words, hope or the oxygen of democracy and inequality is the enemy of hope, I said, yes, that's what I meant when I renamed the service Nourishing Hope. Think of how you feel when your reserve of hope is low and your sense of powerlessness and hopelessness is high. Think about how you feel. None of us want that, nor do all those who seem swept up by the outpouring of mistruths. negativities, warnings of dire events. But what we say, can we do? Many of us volunteer our time and treasure in organizations that work with the people without hope that Warren speaks of. Without question, that is making a difference. It is important work. And right now, with democracy hanging in the balance based on the outcome of this election, it is also crucially important that we be fully engaged citizenry to which Warren refers. Hopefully everyone here will vote. But what else can we do in these last 65 days? Before the service, some of our members demonstrated what they do. Shelley meditated. Jill and Jim and Janet and Martha wrote postcards. The other Jim manned a voter registration table. Tracy handed out information about being an election observer, and pantomime knocking on doors as she will be doing in suppression states through UU the Vote. Scotty provided nourishing support and encouragement for folks doing the get out the work. There are many other actions you are taking. Some are dropping donations in the postcard jar to pay for stamps. Some are stuffing postcard packets. Some working on partisan campaigns. Some will offer rides to the polls. Some will be poll watchers and poll workers. Some will send texts to tell voters where their polling places are and how to find out if they've been purged from the rolls. Some of you are finding other ways to defend democracy in the days leading up to the election. The invitation we offer you here today is for you to use your agency to be a democracy defender in a way that fits who you are. Later in the service, you'll have a chance to add ideas to what actions those might be. And by the way, did you know that your agency is your very own power and ability to affect the future? My desire is that you will leave this service with an intention to nurture hope by using your agency to start or continue or even increase your democratic defending activities. Maybe even invite your friends to join you as we near and cross the finish line. These last few weeks leading up to the election will go fast. We know that the road will be heavy and rough. And though we may want to quit, we will persevere. We know we will get there. Heaven knows we will get there. Thank you.
There is always a light when we are ready to see it. There is always a light when we are ready to be it, to see the light, to be the light, to raise our eyes in the dark of night, to climb this hill. Together we will.
A Palestinian peace activist was asked, in the midst of such horrible ongoing violence and despair, where he found hope. "I don't find hope," he replied. "I create it. Every morning, every day, every hour, I commit myself to making hope a reality." I find the wisdom of his words breathtaking. That sort of hope needs to be strong. It comes not from out here, but from within. It means envisioning a new, different, and better reality, no matter the evidence on the ground, and then committing to work for that reality against all the odds, to work for making it possible. It's stubborn hope. It's persistent, and we need it. Our ancestors who worked for justice knew the importance of hope. That's why protest songs are so full of it. Hope that transforms mere marches into experiences of solidarity, that lifts up weary spirits that thought they were ready to give up, that brings light in the midst of sometimes immense darkness. Did you know that in 1985, Christmas carols were banned in South Africa? It's true. They were deemed too subversive because they generated hope. The police would sometimes violently disrupt Christmas candlelight vigils, wrenching the candles from people's hands. And a Cape Town police spokesperson actually said, "Those candles are revolutionary symbols." The apartheid government knew the power of lighting candles in the darkness, the power of hope. Without hope, we give ourselves permission to crawl up in a ball, pull the covers over our head, and give up. But with it, when we choose hope, those options just don't work. Hope sparks action. We get up, we do something. As Gail said, that something can mean many different things. The collage up here and on the video gave us some ideas. And in a moment, Reverend Kevin is going to help us conjure up some more. But the point is, each of us has something unique and beautiful to contribute, something that is needed for these days. There's a wonderful Jewish saying that keeps me going these days. It was from like 2,000 years ago. It goes like this. Rabbi Tarfon said, "You are not obligated to finish the work, but neither are you at liberty to neglect it." We are not obligated, my friends, to finish the work, but neither are we at liberty to neglect it. From now until November 5th, and in what may be troubled days after, I invite us all to commit to some tangible, concrete ways of making hope a reality, of breathing oxygen into our democracy. Knowing that whatever is authentic for you to offer is needed by all of us. It may seem small or big. It may be woven into your already full daily responsibilities, or it may involve stepping out to something new. Not as a burden, but as an act of love. And no matter the polls, and absolutely no matter the final results, we need to commit to create hope. We need to light those revolutionary candles, or maybe a chalice. Together, let's see the hope, be the light, climb that hill.
There is always a light when we are ready to see it. There is always a light. and we are ready to be it, to see the light, to be the light, to raise our eyes in the dark of night, to climb this hill. Together we will. Oh, I get the easy work today. Thank you, Gail and Diana. Beautiful. So let me just get a read on the room. On the level of hope, so in the folks in the room here, on the level of your level of hope, where are you in this range from thumbs down to thumbs up? What's your level of hope these days? Okay, some sideways and a bunch of ups, thank you. And who feels like you've got this? You're motivated, you're committed, you're inspired, you're already doing something, in fact. Who's motivated and inspired and intending to do something? And who's just not there? Maybe weary, or just this moment in life, it's just not the place that you've got energy to bring to it. There we are, the whole range. I named at another service that one of the critiques of progressive action in the world is that people latch on to the thing they think is the answer and expect everyone to do that thing as if it's the answer. When in fact, if you ask, do we need this or this or this or this or this, the answer is always yes, right? We need the whole range. Deepa Iyer, in fact, says what we need is an ecosystem. Just for a moment, here's her visual, here's her slide. She says we need an ecosystem of possibilities all around our central values. That some people are activists, some people are frontline folks, some people are folks who take care of others. We need the whole range. And you've heard that really beautifully from both Gail and Diana today. So that's our starting place. Thanks, Cypress. Heather Cox Richardson says the place to start is with what you do best. What do you do best in the world, and where can you bring that to this journey of hope and toward a future that's grounded in the values that you care about? As Michelle Obama said, do something if you can, regardless of your political persuasion, do something. That's the invitation. And also acknowledging that there are certain times in people's lives when that is not available too. But to the extent we can, what can we do? So there were some handouts on your seats of some of those possibilities. We've been talking about them today. I would invite us to just surface together some of those things we haven't named yet. Call out what are some of those options for things you can do, whether they're on the page or not. Tracy. Tracy suggests, host a post-vote dinner to celebrate with friends that they voted, right? To celebrate the voting. Gail? If you can afford it, donate. If money is a resource that you have, to donate.
Walk into the county office of the party that you do not belong to and talk with people.
Walk into the... Walk into the office of the party you do not belong to and talk to people. Scotty.
Walk into the office of the party you do not belong to and listen.
Walk into the office of the party you do not belong to and listen to people. Paul.
Travel to a swing state and canvas, which would be Nevada, right next door to us.
Travel to a swing state and canvas. He's suggesting Nevada, which is right next to us. Tracy. Donate any extra miles you have to someone who does want to go to another state and do canvassing. Be open-minded. What a place to start.
Attend government elected official meetings like the city council and take advantage of your 3-minute opportunity.
Attend government meetings, right, like city council meetings, and take advantage of your 3-minute opportunity to speak.
Learn about local people running for different positions
learn about local people running for different positions. Often we become resources, right? Someone say, do you know anything about this election? What, right? We can become a resource just by knowledge. What else is coming to mind? Alan? Talk to the relatives you really don't want to talk to. Pay attention to the school board elections.
Ask me about that.
Ask Allison about that. Allison has information. Tracy.
Maybe take someone under the age of 18 with you to the polls so they can see the process.
Perhaps take someone who's under the age of 18 with you to the polls so they can see the process. Beautiful ideas. So I would invite you to take a moment, and maybe you're well on your way around this already. I was inspired by Keith this week. I hope it's okay, Keith. Keith makes 50 phone calls a day to voters. So now, lest that scare you, you do not need to do 50 phone calls a day. If you did one a day, right, between now and the election, here's the thing. Well over 90% of people don't answer the phone, and 90+% of the time you're leaving a message. Here's the thing. If you leave a message, it increases voter turnout by 6%. You leave a message, it increases voter turnout by 6%. If you actually talk to somebody, which I know would scare some of us, if you actually talk to somebody through the already printed out words of what to say, it increases voter turnout by 17%. So I am a behind the scenes leader. I'm not the out front person, but Keith has inspired me. So I'm going to take this on at some level of doing the calls with that in mind. I invite you to think for a moment about, maybe you're already doing it, but what is it that you feel drawn, able, called to do in this next couple months that will work toward the world you envision? Just take a moment to imagine what that might be for you. Again, maybe you've already got it. Maybe it's something you've been thinking about. Maybe it's something just today that's occurring to you or you're hearing about.
I want to add one that I didn't hear, is telling our stories. So I remember the stories of women's rights. And so 5 or 6 women a day hear those stories that some of those things are sliding away. So tell our story.
So Claire's suggesting one other thing to do, which is tell our stories. She's talking about the story of women's rights over time. And when people know that story, right, that helps, that makes a difference. Yeah. So do you have something in mind? What is it? If you're willing to name a few people to name.
I live in a very Republican neighborhood in Penn Valley with MAGA flags going around the neighborhood on trucks. And I wanted to actually listen, as Scotty says, to my neighbors, but I really haven't had the courage because the minute, we just don't talk about politics. So that's something I would like to do, to approach people and listen.
So in a neighborhood with different political views than yours, taking the time to listen, which you've been wanting to do, but that's been hard to do. I would offer a tool for that is simply to be totally curious. No plan to accomplish changing anything. Just be genuinely curious. Why? What's important to you and why? Thank you. Thanks for naming that, Nancy. Who else?
Can I ask Tracy to talk about out of state and the help that happens with that?
Would you come on up, Tracy? Yeah, so people can hear. Tracy is talking about out of state efforts and the difference that makes.
I have nothing prepared, but this should be very quick. UU, the vote, is providing opportunities for members to travel to swing states to knock on doors. They're providing some stipends for airfare or transportation. They're providing gas cards or credit cards for gas. And while you are actually working and doing canvassing, they will provide breakfast and lunch. They are also reaching out to UU members in those states to have places for folks to stay. They prefer that there are teams of 4, but they are open to take 1 or 2 people. I have done knocking on doors before many times, and aside from it being very effective because you get an opportunity to talk with folks, you get an opportunity to talk with folks that you might not. And if you're like me, you really love that. So if you're interested, just contact me at Tracy Pepper at UU Grass Valley or give me a call. I will definitely be going. It would be wonderful to have at least 3 other folks join me.
Thank you. Thank you, Tracy. In fact, on that list are some contact email addresses, right? And some folks you can contact to find out more about that phone banking or the postcarding or the canvassing. What I would ask you to do for a moment is tell somebody near you what your intention is to do, or to name that you just actually need to not do for the moment. But I invite you to turn to somebody near you, and folks online to type into the chat, what do you think? What's the thing that's kind of tugging at you, or that you're actually genuinely committed to do in this next while? Here's your chance. Tell somebody. Not quite. There's something. Yeah. We know that we start something. So there is something about saying things out loud. There's something about saying things out loud that's different than just thinking them in my mind. So my hope is that that was helpful. And our hope is that you would genuinely feel this inspiration, right? This possibility, this hope, and the breadth of that invitation, right? That there's not a singular way. It's not a, you have to. It's a, oh, here's an important, really important opportunity in some way. Leah Morris's song that we've been singing is based, you may recognize, is based on Amanda Gorman's inauguration poem, The Hill We Climb. So the original text was, the new dawn blooms as we free it. The new dawn blooms as we free it, for there is always light if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it. So Leah took that and said, there is always a light when, right? When we're able to see it, when we're willing to be it. The other part of the song that we're not singing, we're singing the refrain, is shine your light in the darkness. Let your bright heart burn out loud and therefore be a gift to the world. Shine your light in the darkness. Let your bright heart burn out loud and be a gift to the world. Ready or not, perhaps, because there is always a light when we are ready to see it. There is always a light when we are ready to be it, to see the light, to be the light, to raise our eyes in the dark of night, to climb this hill, together we will.
For our prayer, I want to lift up the words of one of the teachers that I and others turn to sometimes, this guy named Jesus. Or, as Reverend Senator Raphael Warnock calls him, the radical rabbi from the ghettos of Nazareth. A person who knows how to make good trouble. Jesus once said to a crowd, "You are the light of the world." Obviously, a beautiful link to today's service, but what's also significant is what he didn't say. Jesus didn't say, if you believe a certain way, if you get your act together, if you do some momentous things, or if you live up to my expectations, then you are the light of the world. Nope. Nope. He just said, you, right now, exactly as you are the light of the world. Join me in however you are comfortable in what I call a time of prayer. Spirit of life, Spirit of light, by whatever name we might call you. Kindle in us our own unique and beautiful light. First, help us find it. Sometimes it seems so dim, but remind us that it is really, truly, always there. Help us to see it, our light. Then help us to celebrate it. Help us to celebrate our own authentic and essential light. Give it some air. Let it shine. Our light is sacred. Our light is precious. Our light is needed. So now, Spirit of light, help us to share our light openly, brazenly with the world. Let us share our light. And if, or maybe when, we start to doubt ourselves or get weary, remind us to look around us for the light that shines from others, not to compare, but to stir our own light, to be bolder, brighter, braver. To see the light, to be the light. A revolutionary candle that we share with others. Spirit of light, we are the light of the world. Let our light shine in the darkness, and the darkness will not overcome it. Amen.
Everyone get a chance? Online folks, I invite you to send your hope, your prayers, your energy. It's time to get the light. We thought it's a little hot, Steve. We thought it appropriate to get the light from our youngest members. So I'm asking, is someone who's familiar with the building willing to go upstairs and get the light? Tell them we're ready for the light. Very good, thank you. Meanwhile, we'll sing and see if we know this song yet by heart. to see it, there is always a light. When we are ready to be it, to see the light, to be the light, to raise our eyes in the dark of night, to climb this hill, together we will. There is always a light. When we are ready to see it, there is always a light. When we are ready to be it, to see the light, to be the light, to raise our eyes in the dark of night, to climb this hill, together we will. There is always a light. When we are ready to see it, there is always a light. We are ready to be it, to see the light, to be the light, to raise our arms in the dark of night, to climb this hill, together we will. There is always a light. We are ready to see it, thank you. There is always a light. When we are ready to be it, to see the light, to be the light, to raise our eyes in the dark of night, to climb this hill, together we will. Last time. There is always a light. When we are ready to see it, there is always a light. When we are ready to be it, to see the light, to be the light, to raise our eyes in the dark of night, to climb this hill, together we will.
This light now flaming from the vessel that carried the potential of light, the vessel we have all touched. So too, you are the vessel of hope that carries the potential for making this world a better place for us, for the children and those to follow, for those who we call other, for the planet itself. Each week we nourish that hope by sharing a bit of our treasure through our ritual of offering. It allows us to do the work to nourish hope in so many ways. The work of this community, the work of one of our so many partners. This month, 50% of our offering will support the Sierra Streams Institute, whose work of monitoring the watersheds promotes critically important scientific knowledge and stewardship of the Sierra Nevada watersheds through research, restoration, education, and community science. A basket will now pass among you, and as it does, whether or not you add to its contents, please breathe into it the same energy you gave to the chalice as it passed through your hands. Greeters, will you please come forward? Thank you. Thank you for your generosity. We dedicate these gifts to the manifestation of hope with a capital H that will create a world more compassionate, more sustainable, and just.
Thank you to all our activists this morning. Before the service, know that you can talk to Keith about phone banking, find out a little bit more. Keith, where are you and where will you be? Maybe up front here. Jim Perkins, if you want to know more about the poll watching. Tracy, if you want to know more about that canvassing possibility, they're your resources, and you've got a page with some other ideas. I want to thank everyone who made this morning happen, all those various folks who contribute to a Sunday morning service. Beautiful flowers today, thank you. And to name that, you may have, folks who are on UUCM Connect may have seen that Bob and Claire Miller are moving to Colorado. And it's a great extra invitation to say, hey, a couple more volunteers for AV would be really important and helpful this year. So be thinking about that, consider that possibility. So thank you to all who make the morning happen. Just a few announcements today, and it's echoing just a little bit, Steve. It's a little bit hot on the pulpit, I think. UU 101 is our, if you're trying to figure out a little bit more about what this place is about, even though it's Labor Day weekend, next Sunday after the service, we'll have a chance to sit down together after the service. The office will be closed on Monday, Labor Day, just for those of you who are in and out quite a bit. Note ahead of time that September 8th is Bring Your Grandkids to Church Day. Now, that may be your grandkids, or maybe somebody you know who cares for their grandkids, and you're saying, this might be a good opportunity. And then the following Sunday, the 15th, is a Kids Connection open house. Those of us who were here listening to Cheryl recently heard what a fabulous experience that can be upstairs. What will happen is the young people will be up for their time together, but right after the service, families, those parents, will be able to go up and actually kind of walk through what happens. So if you know of families with children and you think, ooh, this might be a really good fit or this might serve well, please extend an invitation to come join on the 15th. To close, let's sing together, Building a New Way, because this is what we're doing all the time at some level. So I invite you to hold your intention in mind and heart and this whole community as we rise together in body or in spirit and as we sing.
Working to be free.
As we offer closing words from each of us, a special thank you to Gail as worship associate and speaker today, and Diana Gibson. Thank you so much, both of you. Extra beautiful.
Hope, he said, is the oxygen of democracy, but inequality is the enemy of hope.
You are the light of the world. You have something unique and beautiful that is needed for this time.
What do you do best? Shine your lights in the darkness. Let your bright hearts burn out loud and be a gift to the world. And remembering that we are not alone, but all in this together. We share these good words with each other. Together, let us carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again. Join us for refreshments, connection, information, and we'll see you next Sunday for What's Calling You.